Hello, all. This is Damini, co founder of We Make Scholars. I welcome you to yet another episode of my series Discover Study Abroad. So, today I have Joshua Vasudevan with me, who went to UK as a student for his master's in 2017, and then he worked there for 1 year, as a full time job in a R&D department of a company. And after that, he started his PhD, which was fully sponsored by his company. So, it was like a very interesting path because a lot of students ask me, how do you get full funding for your PhD in UK? And many students try applying for it directly from India, and they are unsuccessful in that. So it looked like a very good story or a path to share. So in this video, I'm gonna ask Joshua all the questions on how did he made it, how did he get the funding from the company, and how he made it happen. And Joshua is also a fellow YouTuber who runs a channel on YouTube and makes videos on everything about UK. So you should check out his channel as well. But now let's talk to him. So hi Joshua, thanks a lot for taking time over a weekend and coming for this quick chat with me.
Thank you, Damni, for inviting me. It's my honor to be on your show, the We Make Scholar. I actually watched some of your videos before, regarding the loans. It's very nice.
Sure. So Joshua, like before we start this session, which is gonna be very informative, and I'm gonna ask you like a lot of questions. Before that, can you just introduce yourself briefly for my viewers?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone. I'm Joshua. So I'm a PhD researcher at Loughborough University in the UK. So I did my master's here in Loughborough University in 2018, and then I worked in Scotland for a year, and then I am funded by my company to do the PhD at UK now. And yeah, I'm also running a small YouTube channel called Britannians, where I just give some informative things to viewers.
Yeah. So Joshua, now in your introduction, I think it covered everything that you went to UK as a student, and then you worked there, which means you have seen that working life as well, and now you're doing your PhD. So I think probably you can answer all kinds of questions which I get from different kind of viewers. So because you have experienced, you have seen firsthand all the challenges as a student, as a working professional, and as a researcher, I would say. So. I'm gonna ask you, questions at all different levels. So let's start with the first most common one. So when students land in UK as a student, the first thing on their mind is the part-time jobs. So I want to ask you, is it easy to get a part-time job in the UK?
It fairly depends on what field you want to do a part-time job. So if you're looking into the field where you are in, for example, a software engineer is looking as a software part-time job, or if a civil engineer is looking in the civil side of part-time jobs, then it's kind of quite difficult. Obviously, like 1 or 2% of the people get the part-time jobs in that field. But if you're looking for something in the food industry, like KFC, Subways, McDonald's, or somewhere like there are warehouses like Amazon warehouses, M&S warehouses. So these are kind of quite easy. So it depends on the location where you are. For example, if you're closer to the warehouses, you can go for the warehouse jobs, or you can try for the food industries. So these are always open for the food industries and warehouses. But if you're looking for any other things like in your field, it's quite tough to get.
Okay. So how do actually people apply for these part-time jobs, and how much can they earn? Can they like manage their entire living expenses through this?
So the application is mostly online through the main thing which I used is Indeed, where I get to know all part-time jobs, or you can look into recruitment companies in your area and ask for part-time jobs which they have. And the pay is actually 8.91 pounds per hour, so that's the national minimum wage. But if you're earning cash in hand, it's kind of totally different. It's quite less. And from April, it's going to increase. It's 9.5. And the pay differs as per the cost of living. So if you're in London, then obviously you will earn somewhere around 11 or 12 pounds per hour. If you're in other parts, you will earn like 8.91 or 9.5 from April. And managing the expenses with the part-time job is kind of challenging because you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your other expenses. So the main portion of your expense is the rent. So if you can cut that down, then obviously you can manage your part time expenses with your part time job.
Okay. So, I mean, even if they work 20 hours a week, which they are allowed to, so you think it'll still be a little challenging to manage the entire living expenses through the part-time job money?
Yeah, so if you're working for 20 hours a week, obviously you will earn somewhere around 700 to 750 pounds per month. So if you can manage your rent within somewhere like 300 to 350, then obviously you can manage other expenses with that.
Okay. Okay, got it. So I think that is, the generally the first question which students ask or they are, concerned about, other than of course the generic things like accommodation and all, which I think they can, sort it in this era of internet. But other than part-time jobs, I think when they are about to finish their masters, or even because the masters is short, it's, 1 year mostly. So I think from day one they have these concerns about full-time job, that, whether I'm gonna get it and how do I prepare, how do I attend the job fairs from day one. So what is your opinion, Joshua? Is it a smooth sail for them to land in their first full-time job, and was it easy for you?
So first thing they have to understand is the university won't help you with the full-time jobs. So their duty is just to like teach you. That's it, and their part is over. So you have to search on your own. So there are a lot of websites like Indeed, CV Library, and Total Jobs. There are like plenty of online websites which you can look for jobs. So what I would suggest is start looking once you come here. Like start looking for jobs because if you are a fresh graduate, obviously the recruitment period in big companies will take like 1 year period. So they will post their jobs 1 year before itself. And if you're an experienced person, it's totally different. You have to wait for till your completion of your course. So, for example, if you're going to complete your course in next 2 or 3 months, then you can start looking for your job from that time. So that's how it works for
Okay.
experienced people and a graduate. And if you're having experience, getting a job is not a big issue in most of the domains. Um, so if you're a fresher, obviously you need to, uh, you know, you will be getting a lot of rejections. So you shouldn't be, feeling low. You should try till you, get a job. I mean, getting a job is a big deal, even in UK, in Canada, or wherever you are. But if you keep on just trying and improving your CV after each job rejections, looking at what is you're missing. So that's the kind of hardship that you have to go through when you're looking for a full-time job. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you have experience, then it's quite easy. But if you don't have experience, for example, if you're having experience like 5 or 6 years, it's quite easy. But if you're having less than 5 years,
Okay.
then that's kind of a struggle you have to go through.
Okay. So Joshua, by experience, you mean like even the work experience they have in India, that also counts, right? Or you're referring to, the work experience in the UK only?
So I'm referring to work experience in India as well, or anywhere in the world wherever you have.
Okay.
So it should be related to your job. For example, if you're a business analyst in India and if you're applying for jobs in the UK after coming to UK, then obviously you have experience, so you can show that in your CV. So that will push you a little forward in the pool of other people. I mean that's I wouldn't say it is a big deal for them, but they know that you are having some experience, so they can at least they will at least call you for the interview to speak and see what is the experience that you're having. But if you don't put any
Okay.
experience at all in your CV, for example, if you see a fresher CV, they don't have an experience at all. They just leave the experience as zero. So they don't know what you have experienced so far in your life. So at least something, some projects you should put in your CV, some bachelor's projects or something that you have done in your bachelor's, or something you have to add it in your CV to showcase yourself to the employer. So that they know, okay,
Okay.
they know something in the field.
Okay. So, Joshua, other than the probability of finding job, which you mentioned that would be easier for someone who has work experience over someone who doesn't have any experience. Other than this, does the salary also changes? Let's say a work experience person would, let's say, be hired at a extra or higher salary scale compared to someone who has no experience. So, is that, can you share some insights on that?
So the salary is mostly depends on the companies. So if you are going for a bigger company, obviously your salary or pay will be more than the smaller or medium scale companies. And obviously it depends on roles. So if you're going for graduate role, obviously it will be somewhere around 25,000 to 28,000 pounds per year. But if you're going to like a like an experienced role, like 3 year experience or 4 year experience, obviously the salary will increase no matter you like whatever your experience of, even if you're a 6 year experienced person or an 8 year experienced person. But if you're applying for that role which just requires 2 or 3 year experience, then your salary will be somewhere around 28,000 to 32,000 pounds. So
Okay.
it doesn't matter. It just matters like which role you're applying and which cities you are applying for. For example, London is quite expensive, so your salaries will be little bit more, but other places are the same.
Okay. So just on the other note, did you had a work experience when you went to UK? If you
Um,
can share.
yeah, I mean, I had like a year and a half of experience in a interior fit out, so it's totally different than what I did my masters in. So I had to learn a lot of new skills in order to to get a job. So I before coming to masters, I just looked into the courses. What is the module
Okay.
requirement? So what is the job requirement there? So I just go through the jobs. I just put my whatever role that I can go into. I just search for those role, look into the job requirements, see what is the technical skills they need, and I try to learn those softwares on my own in India when I get time. So that's how I improved my skills and knowledge. So that actually helped me to get a few interviews during my job search.
Sure, got it. So now let's move to the other part. So you worked there for quite some time, and then you decided to go for your PhD. And you are very lucky that your company is sponsoring you your PhD, so you didn't really had to go out and look for other scholarships. So how did that happen? Why did you decide to do that? And how did you manage to convince your company to fund your PhD?
So the first thing is my supervisor. She was a very good person in my university. The supervisor under whom I did my research dissertation. So she was the person who actually sent my CV to the company. So if you have a good relationship with your professors or supervisors in your university, you may get some chances like that. And they they interviewed me, and I was thinking I will go for a full time job and like a permanent job, but they actually took me in like a temporary role. So they said it's like an internship kind of thing, and they told that they need a PhD degree in order to do a full time job in the company. So when I was doing the temporary role, I was exposed to all kind of the research what they are doing. So I had some interest in particular place which they have are actually focusing on. So I told them, if you think that I need to be a PhD graduate in order to get a full time job with you, then I would love to do a PhD, but I need a funding. And then I was searching for outside funding as well, but there was an update meeting where I had to share what I have learned so far in the process of this internship or a temporary role, and I explained them, and they were like quite happy with that, and I pitched my research proposal to them, and they liked it. So yeah, and they decided, yeah, we'll fund you for the PhD. So it's mainly the research proposal which was attractive to them, so they funded me.
Okay, so that's very interesting, Joshua, because there are so many students who, let's say, ask me personally or comment on our videos saying that if they eventually want to go for PhD, should they directly apply? And as you know that it's very difficult to get funding when students from India are directly applying for PhD, because departments have their own let's say master's students which they want to take in, or other tie-ups and all. So I think the route which you had, I don't know if you eventually wanted to do a PhD or not, but then it looks like for someone who is very interested in research, or wants to get into that, or wants to do a PhD, I think this looks like a very I think sustainable route. I would say that you can go for a master's and build relations with your professors, and this can also happen. So very excited to know
and
that.
that's another one thing which is there. Like most of the companies have R&D department in their own company itself. So if you get a job, it's fine. Just go with the job, and after like a year or two, you can ask your company to fund you, because they do have an R&D department and they do research as well. So most of the companies. So when you're selecting the company, if you feel like okay, this company is having an R&D department, so maybe after 2 years you can just ask them, pitch your research proposal, and you can get funding from the company itself. So I know few people who have got like that. So it's a nice way to get some fully funded PhD in UK.
PhD. Yeah, because I think people are interested. First thing, I mean, UK PhD, everything, the one thing which everyone appreciates is that it's just 3 years. I mean, maximum extension is like 6 months or so. Whereas, in US it's about 7 years. In India also it takes about 7 years. So I think that's why people prefer to do their PhD in UK or other European countries. And I think what you have, shared with us is something very interesting for all those viewers who are looking to do PhD in UK, that, they can follow that path. So it was very good information, Joshua. I think you shared as a student, as a working professional, and of course as a researcher, what all you went through. So my last question before we wrap this session is that many people, when they're applying or they're going to the UK as a student, the long-term plan is, many times it's like, settling there, or, getting a PR, which you call it as ILR in UK. So how easy it is, and what exactly is the path to that?
So the main path is to get a skilled worker visa. So if you get a skilled worker visa, automatically after 5 years you are eligible for a ILR or a PR. So that's the first step that they have to look into when they are searching for jobs. Like when they're applying, they have to look into skilled worker visa sponsored companies. So some companies will sponsor you for the visa. Even if they don't sponsor you, you can just get a job with the company, and after 1 or 2 years with your PSW, you can impress them with your work, and then you can ask for a sponsorship. The first step is the hardest one, like getting the sponsored visa. But once you get the sponsored visa, it's kind of easy. Like automatically after 5 years, you will be eligible for the ILR. So getting that first step is matters.
Okay. And how easy or difficult it is to convince your employer for a skilled visa sponsorship?
So before getting a job, it's kind of difficult. But after you get a job, you work with them for 1 year, it's kind of easy. It depends on how you work, how you impress them. Recent days, after the introduction of post-study work visa, I see a lot of my friends who have got tier 2 sponsored visas, and there are a lot of other people who have got like the tier 2 or the skilled worker visa. So it's kind of easy right now, because previously during my time when I came for my masters in 2018, it was very difficult. Only I think 3 of us, we stayed in the UK in my whole university, where three Indians, we stayed back. But nowadays I can see a lot of people, like around 30 to 40% of the people who are actually finishing their jobs, finishing their studies, they are getting skilled worker visa. So it's
okay. I think it's because of PSW also, right? Because
Yeah.
I think 2018 when you completed that, the policies were a little different, and I think now it has become much more easier and smoother, I would say.
So the PSW has actually changed the employer's mind. Like, okay, I'll just trial with him for like 6 or 7 months and see how he's working. and then sponsor him. So that kind of
Yeah.
mindset is there,
That
and
makes
also
sense.
Brexit has happened. So most of the companies are looking for sponsorship visas because they have to hire European. They need to sponsor him, so they are going for these going to get the sponsorship for their company. So the number of companies is also increasing who is having the sponsorships. So it's a good time to come to UK actually.
So that was, a lot of information, Joshua. I think, it is going to be very useful for people who are watching this. So I'm going to thank you again for coming for this quick chat with me. And, we could gather so much information from you. So thank you. Thanks once again.
Thank you, Tamni, and yeah, and I I think your channel is great. I mean, I've been watching it for like I think 5 or 6 months before. Like I just wanted to look into loans and scholarship. You're doing a great job in that. Thank you so much for
Thank
the
you.
invite.
Thank you so much, Joshua. It was very nice interacting with you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
This video was full of information. I hope you guys could learn a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments, and me or Joshua will come back to you with the answers. So that's it for now. You can subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for such videos, and we have also recorded one more video for Joshua's channel which is published there. So do go and check out his channel and subscribe to that channel as well. His channel link is in the video description. And we are also doing an Instagram live, me and Joshua together, which will be you will be notified about that on VMake Scholars Instagram page. So do go and follow our Instagram page and stay tuned on that. Bye bye.
Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to never miss any updates from us.